And welcome back to another episode of the RC Barn. It's been a few months, but it's getting to be that time of year again where building season commences. I've had a pretty busy summer. Let's see, we've been doing a little bit of work in the barn here, getting things organized and figuring out a game plan for what we're going to build and work on this winter. I've done a lot of flying, like hopefully most of you have done this year, and we've had some mishaps. So, as the title suggests, we are going to commence this year with a rebuild. Crash this. You guys might recognize this. This is Morris Hobbies knife. It's the 40 size version, not the 20 size version. And in the beginning, the first video I ever posted was me flying this in my backyard, and unfortunately, about 2 months after that video was taken, I lost radio reception. Was using an old Futaba 72 megahertz 6-channel radio, and I thought the battery went dead because it's coming in for a landing, and it just lost all communication with the radio, and she flew about five-ish miles away. It was a perfect scenario of low idle, slight left-hand trim, and a little bit up when she lost signal, and it just kept doing circles over the field. Ended up climbing to almost to the point of couldn't see it. I was walking the fields back there, and this was before they had planted any corn or anything back there. And walked it. I called the wife and I says, "Hey, get in the van and start chasing this thing down. It's going to come down eventually. It's going to run out of fuel." And it did, and the results were, less than appealing. She made a couple more circles over a field over there and had a really hard nose down landing. Ended up cartwheeling a couple of times, and this is the results. So at that point in time, you gotta ask yourself, what do you do? Well, first thing I do is I make sure I pick up all the pieces. I find everything, even the littlest piece, depending on how bad the thing is. The crash is. You might need a garbage can or a garbage bag. I've had a couple of them here recently, and just pick up all the pieces. What I usually do is if it's something like this where everything looks like it's fairly together, the crash wasn't too bad. The question arises, do you rebuild or do you, strip it and, go on with your life? That's a personal question you have to ask yourself. A lot of times a rebuild's in order. If it's an ARF, you might be able to pick up another ARF super cheap and throw all your electronics and whatnot in that, and then do a new plane, and there you go. Especially if you want to continue on flying it. Something like this, an old relic like this from Morris Hobbies, don't make it anymore. You can always scratch build one if you got the plans, or do like a mix like I'm going to do, because I have decided to rebuild this plane. It's a lot of fun to fly. I did not have the plans for this. I bought this plane 3 or 4 years ago at a online auction. The gentleman had passed away, and kids were selling all this stuff, so this was one of the planes I picked up. Didn't pay a whole lot for it, but unfortunately I did not get the plans for it either. So anyways, I put the call out on Facebook for see if anybody had a good set of plans laying around. A gentleman from Canada came to the rescue and was able to send me plans. Something else you can do also during a rebuild is if you do not have plans, we'll be doing that later with the Mistress Quickly. I crashed that one too. That I don't have plans for, and it's unobtainium. We're going to take the pieces that are left and reconstruct the plane. Now, a lot of times, a plane, you might just be able to, repair it. You can, rebuild parts of it. If you need a new wing, you can rebuild a new wing and put it on your fuselage. I mean, there's lots of options out there for when it comes time to rebuild. And if you're in this hobby for very long, you're going to crash. You might not have the experience to rebuild, but hopefully maybe we can get some of these planes that otherwise will be relegated to the burn pile or trash can, back in the air where they belong. So anyhow, I've got this laid out. Like I said, the wing is probably the most important part of any airplane. You want the spars to be, not broken. You want, if the spars are broken, the wing is trashed, in my opinion. I've seen a few people repair spars, but I prefer my spars be complete and together. You could add doublers and stuff. That might add a little weight, but usually once the wing is trashed, I seriously consider just trashing the whole plane. And but if it's not, like in this case, it's just got some sacrificial damage to it. This is easily repairable, and so we'll save this one. We're going to strip this thing. The plan for this is to strip this all down. We're going to try to save on the elevator, the rudder for sure. I can save. We're going to repair the wing. We're going to build a new fuselage for it. I got the plans laid out over here for it. Like I said, the gentleman from Canada was nice enough to send me. So as you can see, this is going to be easily scratch buildable. It's just a bunch of sticks. We got a few cutout pieces here around the wing that we'll have to make. Some hardwoods for the landing gear and the engine mounts. We got some wood laid out here that we're going to use. The biggest thing is when you start to go down this process of rebuilding, and this goes with like scratch building and stuff. Make sure look at the plans, see what all you need. Not everybody's fortunate enough to have a balsa bin like me that's completely stocked and full of balsa. So you're probably gonna have to order balsa. I get most of my balsa from Balsa USA and Seg, but I can make do with what I have right now. I don't have too much 3/8 stock. This is 3/8 by 8, so I won't have to make any of that. I don't have any 3/8 by 3/8 stick, so I'll have to make that, and I don't have any 3/8 stock, so I'm going to start with 1/2 inch, and we'll use the bandsaw to make that stuff. So anyhow, that's the plans. We're going to do that. We're going to save the rudder for sure, because that's just going to be cutting the hinges off. I can save the elevator, so I don't have to make that. I don't know if I'll be able to get that elevator out. It might be just worth building a new one. We can try a few techniques to soften the epoxy up and maybe get that out of there and clean it up. We're going to strip the wing down. We will repair all this damage. I'll show you guys how to do all that. Never much cared for the coloring scheme, so I'm going to be changing that up. And probably should reach out to Cali and see if we can get the old man back together in there. That's a pretty iconic sticker right there, so I'd like to try to keep that. Maybe we'll see if somebody can make one up for us when we get the job completed. ETA on this, I'm hoping this is only maybe a few weeks of work here, on and off in my spare time, and so let's go ahead and commence with maybe cutting some wood. I'll probably just throw you on some time lapse. You've seen me do that again before with the bandsaw. And we'll get the bandsaw fired up, and we will go from there. I need to make some stock so I can start getting this fuselage cut out. Oh, and the other thing is protect your plans, please. I know it doesn't work real good, but a little bit of wax paper goes a long ways. And but we'll get our plans protected, we'll get our stock cut out, and we'll start cutting some pieces and getting the fuselage made up here. I'll switch you over to time lapse and we'll get that going. All right, so what took about an hour and a half, you watched in about 5 minutes. The joys of hyperlapse. So anyway, just a couple key things here. Just followed the plans. And I roughed all the outside up out first with the 3/8 by 3/8 stick. That's what you saw me doing first. And then I went ahead and glued all that together. Keep in mind that I tried to remove as little as possible to get glue in all the joints. So did that. You saw me do that. Like I pulled this piece off instead of pulling these off. Another quick tip is, I always try to do this when I'm pinning. Make the joint like that instead of pinning through the balsa wood. It weakens the wood. Don't want that. Try to eliminate that as much as possible. I had to do that over here because this had a slight bow to it, so I had to fix it while I was gluing it together. You saw me make this piece. This is all tapered. Did that on the bandsaw, or on the scroll saw. Went ahead and glued everything together on the little pieces as I was working my way around. So anyways, come to a little bit of a dilemma on the build here, and this is kind of the things that you'll run into. Right here, if you can see that, calls for 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch hardwood engine block. Now, you saw me make this first piece, and I misread it, and it's actually too short. See? So, I went ahead and I didn't have any 1/2 inch thick ply or hardwood mounts, so I went ahead and doubled up a couple pieces 1/4 inch. The weird thing is this is all 3/8, so if I glue this in now, I'm going to have it flat on one side, and I'm going to have a gap here. So I didn't quite understand why he wouldn't just have made these 3/8 like the rest of the plane is, and then, there's this whole thing gets sheeted, and then there's a doubler in here. So I can show you a little bit better on the original motor mount piece of what's left over. So here you can see there's that piece there that goes in front of the wing. It's all solid. 3/8 is what it calls for. And then this is 1/2 inch here. So it's not much thicker than 3/8, but it is. So anyways, I know this whole thing gets sheeted, and that has something to do with the thickness here. So I think we're supposed to sheet up to here, and then if I sheet both sides and then add these, that'll make that the thickness of the regular, and then the plywood will fit flat. You can see the plywood in there. I did break a piece apart so you could see. There's the ply, and there's the solid 3/8. There's another layer of ply over here. So I think that's what we got to do next. You always got to think a couple steps ahead when you're building anything. Like, well, what's the first things I got to do? Well, I made an outline of the whole fuselage using all the 3/8 sticks. Then I glued all those together once I was happy with all the fits. A lot of angles in here. And then I went ahead and did my reinforcement pieces here, all throughout. Okay. And now I'm like, well, I think motor mounts, but yeah, well, let's wait a minute. If we glue those in now, we're going to be off. The motor's not going to be centered. It ain't much, but it's a little bit. So I think the next best thing that we can do now is remove all these pins, 3 inches at a time, and I'm going to go ahead and sheet this whole one side while it's flat on the table. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and sheet this whole thing. I got a bunch of 1/16 inch over there that I can sheet this with. You can see here, 1/16 inch fuselage sheeting. Okay. And then once we get that all sheeted, I'll pick this up off the table. I'll flip it over. I need to make this for where the wing fits in. We'll have to make a template of that because of the curves. And then I'll make a piece of that out of 3/8 balsa. And then once we get that in there, right, then we can sheet the other side, and then add our maple or our hardwood engine mounts in. And I think I'm going to go ahead. I don't know that it doesn't specifically say this is where the landing gear mounts to, so that's why this is so long. But I think I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of pieces of this 1/4 inch out and fill this with hardwood. So when I put a bolt through there, you see the little bolt head for the landing gear. When I put a bolt through there, I can squeeze on the hardwood instead of just an empty space. So I'm sure that's why all those squiggly lines are in there. It's just not outlined in the plans that that's what's going on in there. So anyhow, we'll go ahead and switch it back over to time lapse. I think, how much battery life do I got? 44%. I should be able to do a little bit more here. I think we'll get this sheeted and then get it off, and then we'll kind of go from there. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this video. I do have to work today, so anyhow, let's go ahead and do that part. It's coming along pretty nice. I mean, it's a cool build. You can see how the profiles kind of took shape in the 90s. They were fun fly style planes with really thick symmetrical airfoils. They flew pretty slow. Morris Hobbies was known for building planes that did specific things. This is the knife, so at knife edges, it's got a really big rudder back here. It knife edges superbly. Haven't messed around much with hovering it, but I get in there. I think I need to maybe make some prop changes. So anyways, I'll get you on time lapse, and we'll get this sheeted. Alright, so I got it all sanded down. I went ahead and took some time to make sure we had it flat and there was no high spots, glue joints that will interfere with either side of the sheeting process. Come out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. This was a little high, and you saw, I don't know if you saw it or not in the time lapse, but I had to re-glue that piece in because it caught the sandpaper and broke, so we just re-glued it real quick. But yeah, pretty flat. So now we need to make a template. I'm not going to have much more time to do this today, so let's get this template made, and just maybe we can cut it out. So anyways, this is carbon paper. Okay. It's been a long time since I've used this stuff, but yeah, anyways, put some carbon paper. You can get this at your Home Depot or whatever, or Office Max. And so we need two templates, and we're going to make it out of one. So the first template we need is the white ply doubler that goes all the way around here. Okay. And then second doubler is that balsa piece I was talking about earlier that runs. Make sure you get it centered in here. And then anyways, let's make sure it's going to transfer. I have no idea the age of this stuff. So let's see. Oh, it's right there. Let's make a mark. Boom. Did it transfer? Oh, look at that, it transferred. So what I like to do is get myself a straight edge. This works really nice. And we'll start tracing out our 1/8 inch plywood template. And this is all straight cuts. Try to get it all, but if you don't, you can always connect the dots. That's another way that you can transfer plans onto a template. Say you don't need a one-off piece, and you don't have any transfer paper available. Well, then what you can do is take, let's see, there's one line. Where's the other line at? Rear of 1/8 inch doubler line. That's the center line, I think. Okay. Wonder where it ends. I know it's not that big. I think we'll just come up to like here. That's interesting. Anyways, we'll just connect the dots here. Yeah, no, way off. I guess we could look at the old airplane and see where it went to. So there's no light ply there. I wonder if it's just, I bet you that's it right there. Yep. And go to there. And then trace our outline here. Make sure we're going deep enough. Yeah. So we know that's the start of it. And all I'm going to do is follow my contour area. This is probably the most important part of this whole piece, is right here. Okay. So we got our outline drawn. We went around here. I think we need to, we went to here. We went up here. So we're going to go ahead and trace this out here. And this little doodad here. Try to work in a methodical way here, so that way you make sure that you get it all traced out. Is that. And then this part here is our balsa. There. There. If you don't like using freehand, they make French curves, and you can get your French curve out and make that profile too. Okay, so we got this, and this. That gets us there. That gets us there. This all gets covered up, so we don't need any of this. And then I think we need to go ahead and trace out our engine mounting hole here. There. I don't know if we got that or not. We'll go ahead and get it again. Doesn't hurt. Okay, so we got up around there, up there. Got that piece. Let's see how we did. Looks pretty good. I don't see anything missing. Okay, wheel time. So there's our template. So we'll get our scissors. We'll start by cutting out our plywood template. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can also make, like, if like these, you can go to Home Office Max, or I don't know why I keep saying Home Depot, but you can go to Office Max and get a copy of your plans. A lot of guys will copy their originals so they're not screwing those up, so they always have them. And then also you can that way you can pay for a copy of your plans and pay to have, and cut them up. You know, so that way you can make your templates and you can use, like, you know, white glue, or you know, a lot of people use that the roll-on kind. I don't remember the name of it. And stick your templates right to your wood and cut them out, and then remove your template off of it. If it's a plane that you think you like, and or you build a couple of them, Dad used to cut his templates out of hardboard, and always had a set of templates laying around if you had to rebuild or wanted to build another one. So lots of options out there for making templates. You can pretty much use your imagination for, you know, whatever you're building. I'm not sure if these plans are even available. I'm sure on AutoZone. I don't think they are. Wouldn't be a hard plane to scratch build at all. Alright, there's that part. And then that's our motor mount area that we need to cut out. Okay, there we go. Now we know we need this piece here for the balsa. I guess it helps while I was showing you in the camera here. This plate piece here for the balsa. We know we need two 1/8 inch ply doublers on both sides. Oh, excuse me. So anyways, seeing as we don't need our ply doublers, but we don't want to lose our shape there, I think it has an 1/8 inch ply here. I think this is it right here. Yep, 1/8 inch ply. Anyways, got to keep in mind how we got to cut this thing out. Let's maximize our piece of wood here. That looks pretty good there. And then trace this out. I know, boring, sorry. Ply doubler doesn't go all the way to the end either. I messed that up. We'll fix it. We still need to cut this out. Okay. This doesn't matter. That's where I gotta thin this up a little bit. I just noticed that. It's alright. So we got our doubler. Connect this line here. And then I will cut this out on the scroll saw. So anyways, there's that. I'm not going to show you the cutting process of that. So I'll cut this out, and then I'll sand on this. I'll fit this, get this to where it needs to be. I forgot. If you look here on the plans, you can see it's hard to read plans on this thing, isn't it? How's that? So anyways, on most of the plans, you'll have this dotted line right here. You can see it there. Okay, and then you can see it here. All right. And then rear, right here, rear of 1/8 inch light ply doubler. So we know we need to come here and all the way around here in this line and follow that, and that's your doubler. I assume this is the other part of the doubler up here because I looked on the old fuselage and there's nothing right here. This piece of the fuse is gone. It's missing, I think. Yeah. Let me look. That's it. Anyways. That goes like that. You can see it broke off right there. There's no ply there. Like I said, I think this is missing. So anyways, we're going to go to this line here because that makes sense. And then, so we'll cut all this out. And then once I get done cutting that out, I'll take, you know, my one template here. And then I got to cut these lines out. And that'll be my balsa. And then I'll make those, and then I'll make that, and then I'll sink that in there. Okay. And I'll cut this out. And then I'll cut my profile out. You know how that's going to be. It's going to be like that. That'll fit in there. Okay. And then I'll sink that. I'm going to have to make that out a 1/2 inch, even though it's 3/8. And then what I'll probably do is this will be the piece right here. I'm going to have to make 2 of them. I forgot about that. I'm going to split it in the middle because I ain't got a piece wide enough to get that one. So anyways, I'll do that. I'll sink that in there after I cut all that out. And then I can follow my outline here for the motor mounts. Get the motor mounts installed to get that epoxied in. And then once all that's done, then resheet this side, and then we'll add the doublers on. You know, and the doublers will be epoxied onto the side. So that'll be an overnight deal. I'll have to get some books and weigh it and, do all that. Make sure she's nice and strong, and don't forget about the little piece in here that I want to cut out for the landing gear. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut that out, and I'll bring it back in when I got some pieces. It'll probably be tomorrow or the next day. So anyways, we're going to wrap it up here, and we will talk to you guys later. Appreciate you watching. Please like, follow, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'm hoping we can get the channel built a little bit this year. So thanks to the 25 subscribers that have already subscribed. So anyways, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.